The following is a presentation of Muddy River News.
In the next Muddy River Gem, brought to you by Dot Foods, we'll learn how this decaying old plant in Springfield is being put to better use. You know enough about objects of history that you've been able to curate a little museum here, which is really kind of neat.
This is a product of somebody working down in the metal shop.
Mm-hmm. Can we walk down this way? We can look at some of your work as we go.
Yeah.
Now, you and your partner looking for interesting places to paint.
Yeah.
Were you surprised that you were welcomed here instead of booted out?
Yes. That was probably the biggest surprise of my life.
That's coming up on the next Muddy River Gem, brought to you by Dot Foods.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Daily Muddy. I'm Ashley Conrad. Joining me today, our friend Kristy Trevathan. How are you, Kristy?
I'm just fine.
Well, thank you for being here. I know you had to travel a little ways, not too far, but a little ways.
Not too far, and I combined some shopping.
I was going to say, and she's killing a couple birds with one stone. Right. Of course, Kristy is from Hannibal, Missouri, and today we are here to talk about a beautification project/committee that you have been working very closely with, and is very important to you, right? And that is Riverview Park.
That is true, and it's important to a lot of people that live in Hannibal.
Yeah,
as well as people that visit our city. So in 2005, I was on the Parks and Recreation Board, and we hired a historian, architectural historian, to do a National Register nomination. And we were very successful. That was 2005. So Riverview Park is a National Historic Site.
Okay.
And that's real important.
That is very important.
National Register.
Yes.
And a little bit of tidbit for Quincy, the same person that helped design this park, that was part of the reason for being able to be on the register, is O.C. Simons. He was a landscape architect from Chicago, and he designed a lot of Quincy parks.
Oh, wow.
The more research I do, I find out that 8 of the parks around Quincy were his design.
Wow.
As well as Springfield, Washington Park, and many things in Chicago. But fortunately, Hannibal had a philanthropist named Mr. Pettibone, Wilson B. Pettibone.
Good name.
Yes. And he decided in 1909 that he was going to buy up as much land as he could along the banks of the Mississippi River, just would be north of what was the main part of Hannibal then.
Right.
And he acquired up 465 acres.
I was going to say, how big is that park? Is it?
It is.
It is 465
acres.
That's
and it
huge.
took him 20 years to get all the parcels. But in the meantime, he dedicated this park and gifted it back to the city of Hannibal. Hired O.C. Simons to come from Chicago, but he was also over here working.
Right.
As well as he did some work at Rockcliffe Mansion, I found out. I've been reading and studying because that's my passion.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the more I find out, the more I realize that we are blessed.
Yeah.
Because this could have been a developed property.
For sure.
It has views of the Mississippi River.
It's beautiful.
There are 3 scenic overlooks, and it's a passive park, meaning there's not baseball fields. There is a small playground, but that is on some property that was not part of the designated park.
Oh, really?
There is some, because for years the water treatment plant was there and still is, but it came first. So he kind of acquired property around the water treatment plant. So where the playground and shelter are located is actually some of the city property.
Interesting.
But it's all city property, but it has a deed restrictions, meaning it has to remain a park of a natural beauty and not have structures.
Yeah.
So these are the things that we're working on. So in about 2 years ago, I noticed that the park was needing some things. And I remembered it from my youth with beautiful flowering trees and lots of native plants. And I became a master naturalist in 2018, so my eyes were open to invasive species.
Okay.
So the more I started talking to several people, I said, I think we need to go to the Parks Department and say, we need to look back at Riverview Park and do some planning and some updating of our plantings, but also get rid of some of the invasive species.
Sure.
So that was 2022. We went to the meeting in March and I presented kind of a presentation of why it's important and the history. And so in 2023, we got the ball rolling. Branson Wood, Bob Krasinski, and I met in January a year ago. And we said, we've got to push this forward. So we met with the Parks Department. Andy Dorian is the Parks Director and Central Services in Hannibal. He wears many hats.
Yes.
And he said, yeah, let's do it. Let's hire a firm to do the master plan. So in August of this year, we hired a firm out of St. Louis, and their name is Planning Design Studio. And they have been working. We've signed an agreement with them, and that they would do a lot of things that we felt were necessary. We're not going to change the park. We just want to improve it.
Sure.
And update things that are...
Maintain
some.
Sure.
So there's a Davy Resource Group which will inventory the trees. We have an engineering firm that will help us with some of the washouts that we've had on a major trail that runs from the park down to the river part of the trail. So there's some engineering things that need to be done.
Gotcha.
There's also invasive species removal.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. So are these just, I don't even know how that happens. I'm assuming just like spores travel in and they take over, right?
Years ago, we had this movement that we thought we should bring things from other countries here. And the bush honeysuckle is from Asia. And it has spread rapidly. And Illinois has it. We have it. It's in a lot of places. And it loves to live on the edge of parks. And so what we want to do is start a really serious campaign to eradicate the bush honeysuckle from the woods. Because once it takes over, it keeps the native plants from coming up.
Oh.
The birds think it's wonderful. There's red berries that are still on the bushes late in the fall. It's like junk food. It doesn't have the fat and the nutrition they need for their winter, or their long journey of migration.
Right.
So that's part of our purpose of this master plan. So the master plan is in the works, but we want public input.
Yeah.
We want people to buy into this, because if the Friends of Riverview Park is formed with the 5013C, we want to raise some monies to help the city pay for this.
Sure.
It's going to be a major project. It'll be a phased project. Some of the engineering washouts will be kind of tricky and costly, but we want to improve the park, make it accessible so people can hike it and enjoy why the park was so important in 1909 to Mr. Pettibone. He wanted the people to have a place to come and enjoy nature.
Yeah.
And the native prairie movement that Mr. Simons from Chicago was able to develop was something that was called the prairie style. And it's really interesting because 100+ years later, native plants, restoring prairies, all this is just in the forefront of everybody's minds, that native plants can survive the climate change.
Yeah.
So that's what we want to do, and we want to plant again where we need to. But a lot of the roads were beautifully laid out in a kind of a curved to the left. It's kind of an English-style roads that curve around 16-foot wide roads throughout the park, which are wonderful with the 3 overlooks.
Sure, kind of a scenic route.
Right.
Yeah.
And in 1913, Mr. Pettibone allowed a statue of Mark Twain to be erected. And the state of Missouri wanted to do this because it was like the 100th anniversary. It was 1913, and they wanted to celebrate Mark Twain. He had just passed away. So he said, yes, you can put a statue. Well, it's on the highest point, 160 feet above the Mississippi River, and it looks out to Quincy.
Really cool.
He's up there looking out over the Illinois bottoms, and we're really proud. It was a famous sculptor that did the statue, and that's one of the 3 lookouts that people love to come. And when I take walks there, I see cars with license plates from all over.
Yeah.
So we want to showcase.
Absolutely. I was going to say,
purpose.
parks are very important. I mean, here, there, everywhere. It's very nice to to be able to sustain something that people can enjoy for years to come. Absolutely. I agree
We
with
were
that.
blessed that Mr. Pettibone had the foresight
Yeah.
to know that if he didn't buy this up and make a nice, beautiful park for the citizens of Hannibal, it would be a subdivision.
Right? Isn't that wild to think about that? That's
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
They
And then
had
in-
the foresight to
Yeah.
think ahead.
And then in 2005 to have it on the National Register, that's big stuff.
And
That's
now
very
to be
cool.
thinking about doing the necessary updates
Yeah.
that we want to do. January 11th at City Hall at 6 p.m. will be a public forum.
Okay.
And we want people to come. The designers from St. Louis will be there. They're going to give a history and some slides and show some of the areas that need addressing.
Okay.
So they'll be there, and then the public has a time to say, well, can we do this? Can we do that?
Sure, sure.
Or I remember when my family had this
Yeah.
picnic, and so there have been a lot of memories made in Riverview Park.
Right. And it's always good to have public input. I'm sure not everyone is going to agree, and but it's good. At least you're opening it up to people to come and have a say and learn what you're doing and why. I think it's really great. Now, will the planning company, they won't have their master plan then at that time, right?
No,
Okay.
they are going to. It's just going to be kind of a public forum
Gotcha.
for input.
Okay.
A preliminary design will be later in the spring after this input. They've been talking to a lot of what we call shareholders, people that have some stake in the
Vested
community.
interest.
Yeah,
Sure.
I mean people that are involved in forestry. They've talked to people in the community. There is a descendant of Mr. Pettibone that still lives in
Oh, wow.
Hannibal.
Cool.
So those are the kinds of things they've been working with the employees. I mean, the parks people are important
Right,
to interview
for
because
sure,
they have
for
to
sure.
maintain this.
Yeah.
And there are a master naturalist group, and we want to be involved. We've done a lot of invasive plant removals for the Corps of Engineers over at Mark Twain Lake, as well as helping in Sedalis. And so I think it can be a wonderful community project
Yeah.
to rally around.
Right.
People want to be outside. They want to be in nature. And they
And
know
together.
It's healing.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. Well, I think it's great that you're so near and dear to this. I think it does definitely need those people to rally behind it and rally together to pull something like this off. I think it's great. So the 501c3, that is something that you're working on. You mentioned a couple of the other folks who are going to be a part of that as well, right?
Right. Branson Wood is a lawyer.
Okay.
He's trying to retire, but he is going
Good
to.
luck, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He knows how to put one of these together. He was very instrumental in the Moberly Area Community College being built and fundraising for that. So I'm just blessed to have someone of that caliber to
Right.
work with. Bob Krasinski was an engineer at BASF and then the Board of Public Works, and he is also passionate about improving Riverview Park.
Yeah.
So the three of us have been working together, but we have other people. And I have been out of high school for a long time.
No.
Yes. Over 50 years. And a lot of my classmates, when we've put some things online and talk about what we're doing, and there have been some other interviews about this, they have reached out and said, we want to donate. We
Yeah.
want to be involved. What can we do?
That's
so
awesome.
I think some of them live far away from Hannibal,
Yeah.
but they have memories of what it was like to watch the guys play flag football, have a family reunion, get your pictures taken, because the fall is a beautiful time to have pictures taken in Riverview Park, as well as spring.
Yeah. Excellent.
So that's our goal, and I just finished a book by Jane Goodall called The Book of Hope, a survival guide for trying times.
Yeah,
So-
we all need that.
So it just inspired me, because sometimes you go, we
Yeah.
never get this accomplished.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, yes, we will.
Yes. Well,
In my lifetime.
I was going to say, yes, I have no doubt. I love the passion you have for it. And of course, a park is it's a beautiful thing, and especially one that has such great history and meaning to Hannibal and all the residents. So January 11th, make sure you come out and have your voices heard and learn what the ultimate goal is and what projects are involved. And where is this again?
It'd be at the City Council chambers at City Hall. That's
Okay.
on the second floor, and that January 11th at 6 p.m.
Okay, there you go.
All right.
Go support Riverview Park and learn a little bit more about its history and the plans to keep it maintained, right?
Thanks, Ashley.
Yeah, thank you, Kristy. I appreciate it. Coming up, I sit down with JD Dodd and talk about what's going on with the Hannibal Regional Auxiliary. Stay tuned.
The Liquor Booth is your home for a huge selection of beer, wine, and spirits. The Liquor Booth has 2 locations in Quincy, 3520 Broadway and 1500 North 12th Street. The Liquor Booth, where it's always happy hour.
It's time for a home makeover, and Harvey's Furniture can help. Shop local. Shop with us for home furniture that complements your style. Find furniture for the family room, bedroom, dining room, or home office. Harvey's Furniture, our home, your home. Welcome to the Abbey, a Quincy tradition. With 6 big screens, a new larger kitchen, and now more seating capacity, the Abbey is the place to be. Before, during, and after the big game. Come enjoy fan favorite appetizers, steaks, burgers, and a variety of daily food and drink specials. Can't join us? Carryout is available too. Now with a convenient drive-up window to better serve you. 1736 Spring in Quincy. Opens at 3 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. Come join all your friends at the Abbey, a Quincy tradition. Are you looking for the perfect venue for your next special event? Check out Utopia Event Center. Utopia has a large banquet room and an awesome bar area, perfect for anything from birthday parties to formal corporate meetings. It also offers a photo booth, stage for a DJ or a live band, and a fully stocked bar, all for only $300. Check us out at utopiaeventcenter.com or call Barn at 217-430-6559 for more information. Utopia Event Center, 900 North 12th Street in Quincy.
Instant Replay is your local sports bar. With 18 big screen TVs, we have all the sports packages from college games to pro games. We offer daily drink specials, and come check out the Bullpen, our newly renovated beer garden. Instant Replay, 2739 Chestnut in Quincy.
And welcome back. Joining me now, JD Dodd. And JD, I want to make sure I get this right. You are the Group Director of Volunteer and Guest Services for Hannibal Regional Hospital. Is that right?
That is correct,
All
yes.
right. Well, welcome. I'm glad you came to join. I know the weather outside's a little wah-wah, but that's okay. So welcome to Muddy River News. We are here today to talk about a few things regarding Hannibal Regional Auxiliary, which is kind of the group that oversees the volunteers, or how's that work?
So it is actually the volunteers. The auxiliary is made up of the volunteers. Right now we have about 240 volunteers at Hannibal Regional Auxiliary, and always looking to grow. So.
Yeah. So now, I know when I was younger, junior high, high school, maybe just junior high, I don't know, I was like a candy striper, like, you know how I don't even know if they called them that back then, but I would volunteer after school, and I think I did like the dietary and daycare and stuff like that. Do you offer programs for younger kids?
We do.
Okay.
We have a student volunteer program, and that is for kids, looking to put maybe some volunteer hours on their resume for college, or if they just want to give back to the community. It's a great place to do that. We have a variety of different things that they can do, including the Children's Center if they like to be with kids. And then we have things throughout the hospital as well that they're more than welcome to get into. Right,
and they're not all patient-facing, so you don't have to be okay with, like, the blood and gore side, we'll say, of the hospital, right? Because there are other things. There are a multitude of departments and roles that volunteers play, right?
There is, and I mean, one of the things that, if people are scared of COVID, and we're in a hospital setting, so it's more prevalent, or people probably associate COVID more with the hospital.
Or anything that could be contagious, right?
Exactly,
yeah.
Exactly. And so if people are not interested in doing that, we do have some at-home things that people can do. If people are good at sewing, if they're good at knitting, we have a knitting crew that makes bonnets, and they make blankets for our newborns, and they make cancer blankets for our cancer patients.
Okay.
Lots of different things that we have. It's not just in the hospital volunteering that people can do. There's a variety of different things.
Gotcha. So younger kids, what is there an age minimum? Is it like
there's not really an age minimum. It's just
you want to be, a little more mature on the mature end, I think, right?
I agree. Yeah, we would need to be probably 14, 15-ish.
I agree. Yeah.
But like I said, we make sure their parents come in. They know what they're signing their kids up to do, and we just find a fit that's good for them.
Yeah.
And they just come out at their own convenience, and we'll put them to work.
That's awesome. Yeah, and then also, folks who are retired and bored maybe, right? Or they're trying to find a purpose, or they want to give back. I mean, not just that people are bored or, getting tired of sitting at home. But a lot of people, especially this time of year, I think are looking for ways to give back to their community and the people they live near, right? And make up their community.
Exactly. And one of the things also that I always like to let people know is that our auxiliary and our system as a whole, as a healthcare system, it really is a family atmosphere. And so when you join our auxiliary, you're not just giving back to the community in the volunteer ways, but most likely you're going to develop long-lasting friendships that go past the auxiliary. There's so many stories that I've heard of people that are within our auxiliary that have made lasting friendships that I don't think they would have made anywhere else. So it's really a win-win.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, you're working near these people, and you probably wouldn't have met them if you weren't a part of this, right?
Exactly
so
right.
Very, very cool. So volunteers always needed at Hannibal Regional, whether you're, patient-facing, non-patient-facing, in the facility or, from home. So if they were to get a hold of you, how would they go about doing that? Do they just come to the hospital? Or?
So you can either come to the hospital, you can go on hannibalregional.org. There's an auxiliary section where you can apply. There's an application on there. And we kind of take it from there and get in contact with them once they apply and figure out what they want to do, and then we put them in that placement.
Excellent. And now you do more than volunteer placement, right? You give back. Your group gives back to the community, right?
We do. Okay. So we're on year 5 right now of a 6-year pledge that we're giving back $600,000 to our Hannibal Regional Foundation.
Wow.
So $100,000 a year is what we're looking to do. And we do that through fundraising. And we fundraise by bringing vendors on site. And most of the time, we're having 2 to 3 vendors a month that are scheduled and ran by the auxiliary.
Really?
They do it all. And it's really an amazing process. And depending on the vendor, we get a percentage back from that vendor, which then at the end of the year, we give to the Hannibal Regional Foundation.
So you actually bring them into the hospital?
We do.
Okay.
We do. And, it's one of those things that's really beneficial for our team when you think of they have family lives and they have just other curricular activities after work, and they can do shopping while they're at work.
Genius.
And it works really, really well, and our team really loves it, and that's how we're able to give back.
I was going to say, and it allows you to give back to the foundation. That's excellent.
It is.
So volunteering, you have access to, everything that the hospital has access to, of course, and then making relationships, giving back, and then on top of it, shopping or enjoying good snacks or, whatever else comes in. That's a pretty good deal.
It really is. I honestly think that I have the best job. I work with a bunch of people that like to work for free.
Yeah.
And just the camaraderie that we have within our department is unbelievable. And, I enjoy going to work every day because I get to see all the volunteers, and they're just always happy to be there and happy to give back.
That is so cool. Well, there you go. If you want to be a part of the Hannibal Regional Auxiliary giving back, with time and effort for your community, get a hold of J.D. Dodd, and you'll make it happen, right?
That's exactly right.
All right. Thank you, sir. I hope you have a great one. Thank
right.
you for coming in.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Coming up tomorrow, we'll catch you here for a year-end review of Club Muddy.
Muddy River News. Our home, our news.